Hi everyone, I'm Ian from Balance and Motion. Today we're going to be doing an online mobility class. There's a couple things I want to accomplish with this class. The first thing is, with all the things going on in the world right now, everyone's a little stressed out, a little uncertain, and I just want to take some time to focus on our bodies, get into a more relaxed state, and just check in with how we're feeling. Second thing I want to accomplish with this is have it accessible to all ability levels. So this will work for anyone from a beginner to someone more intermediate and advanced, just with a few modifications. First thing we're going to start out with today is a breathing exercise. It's called bear breathing. The goal of this is, one, to bring us from a sympathetic state more to a parasympathetic state, which is your rest and digest, which is really important right now. Second thing we want to do is reset the relationship between our pelvis and our rib cage. So most people are in a bit of an extended posture. We just want to bring you back into a neutral position, which is going to help with some of these mobility drills, allowing you to access greater range of motion. For the bear breathing, we want to set up with our hands right under our shoulders, our knees right under our hips. We're going to push the floor away, and we're going to breathe in through our nose, trying to expand as much air into your upper middle back. So that's right between your two scapula, your shoulder blades. Breathe in through the nose, and then all the way out through the mouth. Thinking about pulling your rib cage towards your belly button. So we're going to do 5 breaths. Breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. Two more breaths. We're going to rock back into a child's pose just to take a quick break. Make sure we don't pass out from all the breathing. Just want to relax here for a few seconds. And we're going to come back up into our bear breathing. If you want to make this a little bit harder, you can lift your knees up off the ground a couple inches, push the floor away again, breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. You should feel a little bit more going on in your core muscles. We're going to do one more rep. And relax. We're going to go into some neck stretches. So if you have a pad, you can kneel on that. Otherwise, a yoga mat or carpet or a pillow. From here, we're going to be doing neck cars. One of the things with neck cars is we want to do something called irradiation. So we're going to be building some tension in our abdominal region. You want to think about that tension spreading through your body out into your fists. Hold that tension. From here, we're going to do a neck rotation. So the goal of the irradiation is to make sure we're not shifting our body around. From here, I want you to bring your chin down towards your chest as far as you can. Rotate the chin along towards one of your shoulders. Tilt the head back until you feel a nice stretch at the side of the neck. Roll the chin up towards the ceiling. Make sure you're not extending, so you're still irradiating. We're going to come across to the other side. Bring the chin to the shoulder, along the chest, back to your starting position. We're going to do that back in the other direction. One thing I don't want you to do doing this is to push so hard that you feel pain. This should all be about a 5 out of 10 on the pain scale. There should be no sharp pinching or pulling. If you are getting that, just reduce the range of motion. So just cut that angle a little bit. We're going to do one more in each direction. I want you to focus on where you feel the most tight as you do these. We'll go back the other way. Once we go through this, We're going to be going into a neck stretch, so again, pay attention to where your tightest spot is. Down, around to the chest, and up. So we're going to go into a neck stretch. I want you to stretch wherever you felt the most tight. So if it was at that point, you're just going to grab your hand over your head, gentle pressure, reaching the opposite arm nice and long. We're just going to hold that about 20 seconds. If you felt it down in this range, you're going to grab the back of the head, bring the chin towards the armpit. So pick one of those, whichever one was most tight. We're going to hold another 15 or so seconds. Make sure you keep breathing. If we hold our breath, that's not going to allow our muscles to relax. We're going to stay nice and tight, which is the opposite of what we want. All right, we're going to move to the other side, so reach the opposite arm out. Go to whatever position you're stretching on the other side, so grab the head, gently bring the chin towards the armpit. Again, not pushing into pain. None of these movements should cause you any pain. We'll take a few more breaths. And we can relax. It's good just to roll out the shoulders, roll out the neck a little bit. Next movement we're going to be going into is T-spine cars. So that's our thoracic spine, our upper back. For these, I want you to cross your hands over your shoulders. We're going to be irradiating through the belly again. I want you to crunch forward, rounding the upper back as much as you can. From here, we're going to rotate our shoulders to one side as far as you can. Then we're going to lean the shoulders to that side as far as you can and come around. So arching the back up, around, rotating to the other side, leaning to the other side, pulling yourself back around into that crunch position. We're going to go back the opposite direction now. So from the crunch position, rotate the shoulders, lean the shoulders, lift the chest around into that arch position, rotate, lean, crunch around to your starting position. We're going to do that one more time on each side. You can just take a quick break. So once again, we're engaging the abdominals, crunching forward, rotate, come around. Feel nice, gentle stretch throughout this motion. You might get some cracks and pops with this. That's totally normal as well. We'll finish off our last one. All right, from here we're going to go into cat camels. So it's sort of like the bear breathing position, the 4-point stance. From here, we're going to breathe in through our nose, arching our whole back this time, so not just the upper back. And then breathing out, arching towards the floor, lifting the chest. We're going to do 5 cat camels, just taking your time, feeling a nice gentle stretch through your back. If you want to make these a little more difficult, you can think about moving segmentally through your spine. So you're going to start in your arch position. We're going to start at the head, coming down through the middle back, the lower back, rounding, tucking the tailbone under. Then we're going to reverse that. So arching the low back, arching the middle back, arch the upper back, and lift the head. And we'll do one more of those. All right. We're going to go into sideline rotations. For these, if you have a foam roller handy, that's great. If not, you can lie on your side with both knees bent. You will want a pillow for your head just to keep your neck in a neutral position. I am going to use the foam roller. If you have one, this does work a little better. We want our knee flexed to 90 degrees, and on the foam roller, we want our hands out in front of us. We're going to reach our arms open like a book. I want you to follow that hand with your head and breathe out. And not letting this knee roll or lift off the foam roller. So you really want to make sure that knee stays pressed down. We're going to do 5 rotations. Just taking your time. Once again, you should feel this through your chest, your upper back. We'll do a couple more reps. And from here, we're going to go into sideline windmills. So similar to what we were just doing, we're going to bring our arm up, keeping our thumb pointed towards the floor, coming overhead, around, keeping that thumb down as far and close to the floor as you can, opening up to the end position of the last rotation, and then closing the hands back together. We're going to do 5 of those per side. So thumb along the floor, rotate over the head, feel your upper back open up, your chest open up, breathe out, close the hands together. All right, from here we're going to move to the other side. So I'm just going to flip around. This side I'm going to demo what you would do if you don't have a foam roller. So legs bent again at 90 degrees at the hips, head on the foam pad, hands out in front. We want to keep this top knee pressed into your bottom knee. Open up the arms, breathing out. Then come back together. And from here, we're going into our sideline windmill. So thumb as close to the floor as you can. Come around and over the head. Open the upper back and chest up. Follow that hand with your head. Breathe out. And come together. Okay, we're going to move back up onto our feet. Next thing we're going to do is a lat stretch. So I want you to grab onto the cage just about shoulder height. We're going to shift our hips back. You should start to feel a pull on the outside of your armpit, so that's your lat muscles. Once you find that, you can rotate your chest towards the stretching arm. Then I want you to breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth. Imagine you're breathing into that muscle we're stretching. So we're going to do 5 breaths here. As you're breathing, try to sink a little deeper into the stretch. switch to your other arm. Same thing, sink the hips back. Try to find that stretch behind the armpit. Rotate the chest towards the armpit. And we're doing 5 full exhales. So breathe in through the nose. Expand that lat. Breathe out through the mouth. All right, so we've stretched the back side of the arm. We're going to stretch the front side now. So we're going to go into a standing pec stretch. So we're going to do a straight arm, grab on once again about shoulder height, maybe just a little higher. We want to think about rotating our chest away from our elbow till we feel a pull right across the front of our chest. Make sure you're not arching your back. You want to pull the ribs down. We're just going to take a few deep breaths in this position. And we're going to do some contract and relax. So keeping in that stretch position, what I want you to do is slowly build some tension into your hand, pushing into the post or doorway if that's what you're using. We're going to do an 8-second hold. So ramping up to about 50% tension. Keep breathing. And then relax, letting your body rotate a little further away from that elbow. We're going to do 2 more rounds of that. So slowly push into the post. There should be no pain, just feeling the muscles contracting here. A good deep stretch. A few more seconds, and then relax. Try to go a little further. Our last one. I want to breathe in. Build some tension into the post. Push the hand into the post. Another 5 seconds. And relax. All right. You should have felt the arm giving away, getting a little bit more range each time you released that contraction. We're going to move to the other side. So this one I'm going to be facing away from you. So grab on, same height. Rotate the chest away. We're just going to take some deep breaths, relaxing into this stretch. Then we're slowly going to build up tension with that hand into the post. About 50 to 60% tension. And then relax into the stretch. Once again, you should have gained a little bit of range of motion. We're going to do 2 more of those, so push into the post. We're doing an 8-second hold. And relax into the stretch. Final one. So ramp up that tension. 5 seconds. And relax. For the lower body, the first thing we're going to do is a half kneeling hip flexor stretch. So we're going to have one knee down on a foam pad or a pillow. We want to start by posteriorly tilting our pelvis, so tucking our tailbone under our body. Once you find that, we're going to push our hips forward. So trying to lengthen the front of the hip here. I want you to hold for a few seconds and then relax. So once again, tilt the pelvis, push the hips forward. If you want a little more of a stretch, really contract your abs, and that's going to help engage or pull on the hip flexors. We're going to do 5 of these. So once again, push forward, tense the abs, squeeze the glutes, and relax. And then 1 more. From here, we're going to move to an adductor stretch on that same side. So from the half kneel position, I want you to step your leg about 45 degrees out to the side. We're going to rock our body away from the knee that's down on the pad till we get a stretch through the inner thigh. You should feel it on this down leg. Don't sit too far into this leg, else you'll feel it on that side. Once you get into that stretch, take some deep breaths. You can sort of think about pressing that knee down into the pad, and that's going to help engage those muscles, stretch them out a little bit, and then relax into the stretch, just like we did with the pecs. So we're going to hold this one about 20 seconds. You can just alternate the contraction and relaxation as you wish. All right, we're going to go to our other leg, into our half kneel hip flexor stretch again. So tilt the pelvis under the body, push the hips forward, brace the abs, squeeze the glutes, and relax. We're going to do 5 of those per side. Once again, focusing on the front of the hip as you're doing these. And relax. 3 more. Same thing, we're going to go into our adductor stretch. So half kneel position, step the leg about 45 degrees to the side and rock the body away from that knee until you feel a good stretch on the inner thigh. Take some deep breaths, relax into that stretch. And then again, if you want to alternate contraction with relaxation, push the knee into the foam pad, and then relax into the stretch. We'll do a couple of those. From here, we're going to go into Cossack, so a half kneel adductor stretch. We're going to go into 4-point kneeling position. We're going to step one leg out to the side. From here, we want to think about pushing our hips straight back till we feel stretch through the inner thigh and into the hamstrings. Once you hit that end point, I want you to roll your toes up to the ceiling as far as you can. You're going to get much more of a pull on sort of the hamstrings now, less in the adductors. We're going to hold that for a few seconds, and then we're going to roll back into our adductor stretch, trying to sit the hips straight back a little further. Make sure you're not just sitting back to your heel. The tension should be on this leg that's stretched out. We'll do a couple rolls on this side. And then we're going to go into a hamstring stretch on that same leg. So the leg's stretched out front, half kneel on the other side. We want to hinge our hips back and just bring our hands towards the floor. As you can see, my hamstrings are pretty tight, so I'm not getting all the way to the floor, but if you could, you'd be reaching down there. We want to feel it on the outside of the hamstrings, maybe right into the hip a little bit. We're going to just hold this for about 20 seconds. Keep the toe pointing up towards the ceiling. As you relax into the stretch, think about driving that hip down towards the floor. And we'll bring our knee in. We're going to go to the Cossacks on the other side. So one leg out to the side. Push the hips straight back till you get a good stretch right down the inner thigh. Roll the toes up to the ceiling so you get a pull in the hamstrings, and sit the hips back. And we're going to bring the foot back to the floor. And we'll do a couple more of those on this side. All right, we're going to go into our half kneeling hamstring stretch. So push the hips back, reach towards the floor. You should feel the stretch down the leg, into the hip a little bit. We're just going to hold this on about 20 seconds, again making sure the toes are up towards the ceiling. Okay, from here we're going to go into a pigeon stretch, so we're going to actually get into the glutes a little bit. So we want one knee on a foam pad, hands out in front of that knee, and we're thinking about driving the hip down towards the floor. And you should get a pull right up through your glutes. We're just going to sit into this stretch. We're going to hold it for 30 seconds, taking some nice deep breaths. This is a good time to just check in with the body again, making sure you're not tensed up in the shoulders, just staying relaxed, focusing the tension in the area we're trying to stretch. With this one, the closer the bum is to the floor, the more of a stretch you're going to get. The further up you are, the less of a stretch. We're just going to switch to our other side. So knee on the pad, sit the hips towards the floor. Make sure you're relaxed in the rest of the body and just enjoy the stretch for a little bit. All right. From here, we're going into a 90-90 position. So we want our front knee at 90 degrees. Our knee should be straight in front of our hips. Our belly button should be pointing towards it as well. Our back leg should be coming right off the side of our body, and again, 90 degrees at the knee. From here, if you have the mobility, you can bring the arms off the ground. I'm not one of those people, so I'm going to keep my hands on the ground. We're going to bring our belly button towards our front knee. So we're going to hinge with our body as far forward as you can. You're going to feel a stretch in that similar area as the pigeon stretch. Then I want you to think about pressing that front knee into the floor, lifting yourself back up. So we're going to do 5 of those. I'm just going to show you from a side angle. Make sure you're not just collapsing through the other body. We want to keep our back nice and flat and bring the belly button towards the knee. Push the knee into the floor, lift the body back up. From here, we'll switch to the other side. So again, we want the knee in front of the hip, 90 degrees, and the belly button facing towards there. Back leg is off the side of the body and 90 degrees at that knee. From here, bring the belly button towards the knee. Push the knee into the floor, bringing yourself back up. You may notice one side of your hips is much tighter than the other. That's sort of normal, but these ones are a good one to work on restoring balance between the two sides. Keep breathing as you're doing this. Don't hold the breath. We're going to come out of our 90-90 position and into standing hip carves. So for these, we're going to use our radiation for the final time. Stand nice and tall. We want our fists into the ground. We're going to bring our knee up as high as we can, making sure we're not leaning back. So drive the knee up, keep the core engaged. From there, we're going to bring our knee straight out to the side as far as you can. Once you hit that end point, I want you to rotate your heel out and back, kicking the leg back and around, finishing with your glute squeezing and up to that starting position. If you're struggling with balance, you can do these ones just holding onto a wall or a foam roller, or with your back supported against a doorway. So we're going to do 4 rotations per side. So knee up, open, kick the heel around, squeeze the glute to pull the leg back. So this is going to be our last one going in this direction. We're going to reverse it. So we're going to start with a high knee. We want to kick our heel back, squeeze our glute, pull the knee out to the side, lift the knee up as high as you can. So try to reach the knee up, pull around to that starting position. So again, 4 in this direction. You should feel your hips burning a little bit, and you may feel it on the stabilizing leg as well. Just try to keep holding that tension in the core, getting as much range out of the hips as possible. All right, take a quick break. We're going to go to the other side. So same thing, irradiate, fist into the ground, knee up as high as you can, out to the side, kick the heel around and back, pull the knee up and repeat. Go in our reverse direction. So high knee, kick the heel back, squeeze that glute, pull the knee out to the side, up and around to your starting position. Really make sure you're not leaning as you're doing these. Try to stay as upright as you can. As you can see, balance is a bit of a challenge. If it helps, focus on something across the room. We'll do one more to finish it off with the hips. All right, we're done with the hips. We're going to go to the ankle now. So first one is ankle rockers. So we're just going to come into a push-up position, 1 foot behind the ankle. We want to push our hips up, drive our ankle towards the floor. We're going to hold for a few seconds. Keep tension on that ankle and rock the knee towards the ground. We're going to do 5 of those. Trying to get the heel a little closer to the ground each time, having the knee come all the way to the floor. And we'll switch feet. Once again, press the heel to the floor, rock the knee forward, rock the heel towards the ground. right. We're going to go to a kneeling position. We want to tuck our toes under our feet. From here, we're going to slowly sit back onto our heels. You're going to feel a stretch right through the arch of your foot. Ideally, you'd have your shoes off for this one. If you're at home, you probably do. And you're just going to put as much weight back as you can, sitting onto the toes. We're just going to hold that for about 30 seconds. Today is 90-90 breathing. So you're going to need a bench to do this. Obviously, most of you don't have a bench at home, so feel free to use a couch or a chair. We're going to have our feet up on the bench. We want about 90 degrees at our knees. We're going to have our palms facing up and on the floor, and we just want to relax. We're going to be breathing in through our nose, out through our mouth. I want you to think about breathing into your belly, so using your diaphragm as you breathe in and out. We'll do a few more breaths. Then I want you just to go back to your normal breathing and just let your body relax into the floor. Try to think you're sort of melting away into the floor, relaxing all the muscles we've just been working on. Feel free to spend as much time here just letting your body go back into that relaxed state. So that's it for our mobility class today. I hope there was a few new stretches in there that you can start using at home. And I hope, most importantly, that you're feeling more relaxed, a little more calm, and that you've accessed some new range of motion. If you have any questions about any of the techniques we're using today, or you want some more specific training, feel free to send us a message and we'd be happy to help you out.